Could passenger trains make a comeback to Columbus? The question was one of many at a weekly discussion forum hosted by the Columbus Metropolitan Club.
A panel of experts weighed in on if and when passenger trains could be an option for Ohio travelers soon. Here's NBC4's Sierra Johnson live with the big takeaways. Sierra?
Yeah, it's a question, or a topic rather, that comes up every couple of years here in Central Ohio. Right now, Amtrak currently serves those in the Cleveland area to our north, Cincinnati to our south. But is a passenger rail coming to Columbus? And if so, is one wanted? That is the topic of today's discussion.
It always has been a great market for intercity passenger rail, and it's even more so now.
1979 was the year the last Amtrak passenger rail left a Central Ohio train station. And 44 years later, planning leaders are once again toying with the idea of a rail here in the capital city.
We've learned lessons from the past, and we're really focused on speed and the business experience to get on these trains. There's also more federal funding to invest in passenger rail service, adding it and improving it than there's ever been.
William Murdoch, Executive Director for the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission, says the planning and transportation worlds have learned major lessons since this topic was previously in the headlines. It was in 2010 a then Republican governor, John Kasich, rejected $400 million in federal funds meant to establish passenger rail service. But since that time, Murdoch says Central Ohio has had a boom, gaining more than 250,000 residents and new funding, specifically the 2021 bipartisan infrastructure law that has made $66 billion available for passenger rail construction. So now what? Murdoch says Ohio is taking the steps to gain some of that money to bring rails back. The first step has a deadline this month.
The timeline is we apply March 27th. Hopefully by about the middle of the year, we'll begin study to answer those important questions. And in about 18 to 24 months, we'll be ready to make an ask for capital funds. What that means is you're looking at about 5 years before trains would be rolling through Columbus.
A timeline a director of network development with Amtrak says is spot on.
The new federal programs really will create a clear process and a pipeline of passenger rail projects across the country.
So March 27th is that day so many are focusing on. Again, is that's when that survey is sent to the federal government. When it's returned, we should have more insight into just how much a project like that could cost, where that train station could go, and even how fast the trains could go. So right now we're still in a waiting pattern, but it seems like we are making a bit of progress. We're local for you in Columbus. Sierra Johnson, NBC4.